Well, hey y'all, this is the second of 3 videos that I'm recording today. The first one was about school questions you might have had. This one's about either just kind of general all-purpose questions that you had or comments you made to me that were, that were just kind of, gracious and kind. Or I don't know, just more personal comments. The third one is going to be about questions that some of you asked me related to content in U.S. history, so economics, government, No Child Left Behind. Check it out. Last thing I'll say before I dive into your questions, your comments, is that because this is the last week of school, I am not going to be putting up notifications in Classroom anymore that there are videos up. So if you're at all interested in these, you can do 2 things for me. One is you could subscribe, and I know it's a YouTuber thing. I'm not trying to be a YouTuber. If you're at all interested in this, it'd be great to know that anybody is interested, because if nobody cares, I don't need to do these, whatever. I think while we're all, and even though we're kind of breaking down quarantine and isolation, some of you guys are probably still feeling kind of isolated because you probably shouldn't be just going out and hanging out with large groups of people again. So I am happy to do this because it's a way to reach out and communicate to you, and I like you guys. So you can subscribe, that'd be fine. The other thing is that down below I've got a form that would tell you, hey, if you're interested in watching more of these, what kind of stuff would you want me to talk about? Do you want me to just keep answering questions? Do you have specific things you'd like me to do? Because otherwise I don't know. So let me know. All right, here are your comments. Somebody says, I miss your class and the crazy tangents we went off on. Hope you're doing all right. Yeah, I do too. Crazy tangents are part of the fun. In fact, I think now that you've had me in class and me out of class, I would imagine that a lot of you guys would say, I don't remember the stuff out of class as well. That's because some of those tangents are actually designed to bring you into the content we're talking about and help you remember it. When we're just talking about content, some of you guys glaze over. And, when we talk about random things, it turns your brain back on and you're like, oh yeah. So now you know my trick. Happy Teacher Appreciation Week, Mr. Gallion. Well, thank you. I got a number of gifts, which were super kind. It felt weird to be sending out a wish list in the middle of a pandemic, but I figured, hey, if you can't, you don't want to, you won't send anything, and that's fine. Those of you who did, I am so incredibly grateful for those things. They were very, very kind, and I've enjoyed a number of those things already. So, thank you. Somebody says, I hope everything goes back to normal soon. I have enjoyed this time with my family, but I'm ready to see my friends, and I miss being able to travel. My mom is a nurse at GHS. She's been out of work since this all started. And I've not been able to find a job since no one wants to hire during this time. I'm just ready for normal again. And I would say, yeah, I think all of us would say we're ready for normal again. Like, I'm kind of an introvert. I know at school I'm very extroverted, I'm loud and whatever, but I like to be able to just sit down and do nothing. And, get a little tired of doing nothing, honestly. But if it's what I got to do to keep me and my family safe, to not go out and mingle too much, that's okay. And I do think you can go out safely if you follow a number of the guidelines and things. But I wouldn't go out to, huge groups. I think a lot of you know that I'm a very religious guy, and my church is opening back up this next Sunday, and I'm like, I don't think I'm going to go yet because I'm just not confident. So everything's opening up right now, right? Everything's opening up to some degree. And I think you're going to start to see people get together, and inevitably you're going to see more cases of the virus as people let down their guard. And so I think it could be kind of rough. Personally, you may disagree with that. That's okay. Tell me how you disagree and we can dialogue about that. It'll be fun. Some of you might say, why would a nurse be out of work? And the reason for that is pretty simple. That is that there are a lot of procedures that people are choosing not to get right now because they're afraid if they go to the hospital, they'll come into contact with people who have the virus. And so the hospitals are busy with people who have the virus, but if you're there for almost anything else, it's on hold. And so hospitals are actually having a really rough time right now. They're putting people on furlough. They're not calling them into work, and that's not great. That's happening to lots of industries, but especially we want to make sure that hospitals have the money they need, because it's not just the coronavirus they worry about. It's, what if you have cancer? What if you have a heart attack or a stroke or all kinds of things? So yeah, it's weird. I hope at least that gets taken care of pretty soon. How have you been Mr. Gallion? I had a bunch of you guys ask me that, and my answer is pretty good. Pretty good. I really do, like, there are definitely days when I am struggling with all this because it's hard. And the idea that we might be doing this for, I mean, the earliest anybody thinks that a vaccine could be available for anybody, and this would probably be primarily frontline workers like healthcare workers, maybe people in like grocery stores. I'd cross my finger and say teachers. The earliest would be probably September. And some people say, no, maybe by January. Some people say maybe by next September. Vaccines take a really long time to, well, the developing doesn't take that long, but then you got to prove that it's safe, that I can inject it into you and it's not going to kill you right away or within, a number of months. And then you've got to make sure that it actually does the job, right? So let's say the coronavirus has a 2% mortality rate. Okay, so if we inject a bunch of people with a vaccine and 3% of them die, you're actually better off to take your chances with the coronavirus. So they got to make sure that it does the job and it doesn't hurt you. So that's a safety thing, not the is it effective, but we've also got to make sure it actually keeps you from getting the coronavirus. And the only way so there are two ways to do this. One is we just send you out into society knowing that the coronavirus is out there, and then we keep calling back your group of people who had the vaccine and then the group of people who didn't, and we just check. Hang on, I'm gonna let my dog out. There we go. And we check to see, hey, which group has, is there any statistical difference between the people who got the vaccine and the people who didn't? And if there isn't, then our vaccine's no good. And if there is, then we move on and we give it to even a bigger group to make sure that we're okay. All right, so that's one option. The other option is we give people the vaccine and then we expose them to the coronavirus and see what happens. There are some ethical questions because we don't have a cure for the coronavirus, right? So what if we do and you die or you get, long-term kidney damage or, heart damage, or there are all kinds of things that they're concerned about with us. So anyway, that's why it's taken so long. And then you've got to mass produce it, and we need enough for pretty much everybody on the planet, or at least a good percentage of them. So lots and lots of questions here about this thing. So all that to say, how am I doing? There are times when these ideas kind of overwhelm me, and the idea of thinking, living like this long term, or going out and risking, maybe we get this, and yeah, maybe bad things happen. Who knows? I don't love that. That's probably just. I'm the kind of person who I expect the worst, because then if anything better than the worst happens, I'm happy. If I think it's going to be 2 years before we get a vaccine and we get one in a year, that's good news. If I think it's going to be 2 months and it takes a year, I'm really disappointed, even though the outcome was the same, right? So that's just kind of the way I approach things, and you should know that while you're interpreting my thoughts. But right now that's really heavy because there's a lot of stuff to be concerned about. Let's see. Can't wait for it to be over. It's a little naive of me to have hoped this would blow over soon. Yeah. In 1918, when the flu pandemic hit the United States, it lasted for 3 years. Okay. Yep. Now they didn't have a vaccine, so maybe we'll beat that. Who knows? Somebody says you have an unhealthy obsession with baking during this. Yeah, finding flour is difficult because you're not alone in that. Lots of people are doing it. If you have extra things that you have too many baked goods you don't know what to do with, I can give you my address. Come drop them off. We will wave at you through the glass door, and then we'll eat your baked goods. Cool. Yeah. So y'all, I am happy. I'm going to just wrap this up by saying I've really enjoyed answering your questions over the last couple of weeks, and I would love to keep doing that. But again, I got to know what questions you have. So either you can fill out the form or just tell me what kinds of things are you interested in. And I can tell you a couple things. So one of the things I'm interested in all this is what's the latest developments with the coronavirus. What have we learned? What are the ways you can be safe? What are the treatments that are happening? Where are we in the vaccine process? I can talk about that. Some of you might be interested in some of the conspiracy theories and whether I buy into them or not. The answer is no, I don't, but I'd be happy to talk about why. I've spent a lot of time on Facebook lately, which maybe I shouldn't have, talking with people about that. Yeah, so have you seen this pandemic thing, which is just, it's insane. It's insane. That's just me, not the school's personal view, or not the school's view, it's mine, but okay. Anyway, so let me know. You want me to listen to your musical recommendations and, review them? Do you want me to watch your movies? I don't know, like anything. So just let me know. It's been fun. And if not, that's okay too. Enjoy your summer. I'm going to miss you guys and hope to see you in some way in the fall. Take care.